day, thousands of players are banned from Minecraft servers. But what if there were no rules at all? What would happen if you actually spend 24 hours in the most chaotic server in Minecraft? I immediately spawned on top of an obsidian roof. I can tell just by looking around that this wasn't the floor. It's very common on anarchy servers to build at build limit because if you have a map, the builds actually project on the map. So that's why people tend to build at build limit. These servers also imply a replay feature, so I used that immediately to try to get a lay of the land. But it was actually worse than I could ever imagine. This is, yes, an obsidian roof. But I see least of these people concerns. Look at the land. This is their spawn radius. And it is more destroyed than I ever could imagine. This goes all the way down to bedrock, by the way. From build height to bedrock. It's just an absolute mess. I can see a bunch of notable symbols on here that are very prominent on 2B2T as well. So you can see how the culture here is almost completely parallel to the culture on 2B2T. And this is not me just messing around, this is the actual terrain. You'll see why now it's so hard to actually load this in, it's just so complex. The instruction, this is so much for the game to handle, have so much different dupe blocks just hanging around. I am not exaggerating this from the video whatsoever. There is nothing out here except obsidian. It have nothing out here except obsidian and the random e-chest. There's nothing out here. I was looking just for a random tree or some water I can jump down into, but it literally had nothing around. I found like this very obvious path that had a bunch of like portals. They had a bunch of portals on there, but it seemed like a trap. It's a very obvious trap. I had some experience. I watch a lot of 5th MC, so I know these traps are most likely just put in place here. The players can walk through. And if it's anything like the 2B2T book ban, it means if I walk through this portal, I'll be crashed out and I'll never be able to join the server again. As you can see, somebody already placed blocks around this and showing that it's probably a known trap to go through the portal. So I avoided that. And I stumbled upon this wall. And look how massive this thing is. This goes around the entirety of the spawn radius, by the way. The whole spawn radius. This wall just continues. And it is exploded in some portions. But the rest of the wall originally did go around the entirety of the spawn. So I just stumbled into the wall. It was kind of crazy to see such a big build. And the whole thing was lava casted, which a water bucket and a lava bucket. The whole thing was lava casted. So it's kind of crazy to just stumble upon such a big human-made creation. I eventually did find one of the overworld highways, made completely out of obsidian. And I followed this highway straight out until I can find myself a nether portal. The reason I went this far out is because any nether portal close enough to spawn, probably going to be spawn trapped. If I went straight through, I'm either going to just be banned or either going to get killed on the other side. So I decided to go as far out as I possibly could before I went through a portal. Now this journey took me about 700 blocks out from the spawn radius. I moved in the north direction because hopefully that was the least traveled highway. I was just taking a gamble. I went through the first portal I can find when I thought it was a reasonable distance away. And I spawned straight into the nether. And the nether didn't look any better than the overworld. I don't know what I was expecting, but the nether didn't look any better than the overworld. It had no way to traverse around, and I accidentally fell straight down, and seeing as I had no blocks on me, I had to keep going down, knowing that the highway was probably not down there. I eventually did make contact with a player called Code Mr. Cycle, and he is the unsung hero of this entire video. I am not even joking. Go to his videos and leave a comment on it, please, and say, I was sent here from at least one video, and go subscribe to this guy because he allowed me to get out of spawn. I talked to him in the DMs on the Minecraft server and he agreed to help me get out of spawn. Before I meet up with Code Mr. Cycle, I just have to mention the amount of gold that in the actual nether. I looked around and there's at least 5,000 blocks of gold just floating around in the nether. And I just around spawn. It extends so far that I wouldn't even be able to count. But gold just extends and extends and extends. So I don't know, they did dupe gold. I will show you this later in the video. But they did dupe a bunch of stuff on the server, and gold has to be one because it just have so many. So the plan was to basically use the server teleportation system that now costs 3 netherite blocks to teleport. Something that seems very expensive to me since I'm very much on a SMP server. But something that cheap here, since to do all the duping, netherite is practically useless here to actually build houses out of it. But I couldn't say I wasn't a little nervous meeting a player for the first time, since they usually just blow you up one side. But this player was actually pretty friendly. He actually just wanted to help a little bit with the journalism, which I have to respect. He just wanted to make sure the server was documented, right? So he did go over and give me the works. Can't tell you my eyes did not open when I see this chest. The amount of things I got from this one chest, from this one shulker, is actually pretty insane. But this is a kit system that's in the server. Something I will talk about later in the video, so stay tuned. Because this kit system is absolutely insane. It has to be one of the most advanced things I've seen in Minecraft so far. It is something that goes against a bit of the Minecraft terms of service. So Minecraft, don't sue me if anything happens or any footage shown from this actually gets to somebody who in Minecraft team. Don't sue me and don't ban my video. I'm just recording it. I'm not at all connected to this. I'm not breaking TOS. I'm just showing who is breaking TOS, okay? So I will explain everything about this kit system later, because it is a very advanced system. So let's get right into the actual process. I'm not backstabbing him, by the way. I am killing him right now so he can go back to his base and I can teleport to him. Basically, I will explain how it works. So basically, what we're going to do, he gave me a elytra, and what I'm going to use the elytra for is to fly 5,000 blocks out, and I'll teleport to him. And he can't teleport within a 5,000 block range of spawn, so that's why he basically came to me first instead of me coming to him. So I have the 3 netherite blocks right now to go teleport to him with. And yeah, so I plan. I decided to kill him right now so he can go back to his base. That's why he's making try and put away all this stuff before I kill him. So I did go flying actually, and this has to be some of the most dangerous flying I've ever done in Minecraft. If I fly into one of these walls going at Mach 10, I will literally die. And the walls and the terrain get so unpredictable. You literally can be going on flat land and all of a sudden it's a massive lava cast. So I was really careful about flying. Even though I can fly a little faster, I don't actually want to, because the terrain actually takes a while to load in on this server because it's just so complex, so much destroy blocks, so much floating blocks. So it's really dangerous. You can see I was just bobbing and weaving out of the way, because even at least 5,000 blocks out from spawn, it's still very destroyed. There's still a lot of things coming at you, a lot of pillars, a lot of lava casts. So I am very much dodging out of the way to make sure things don't actually hit me. I actually managed to find some farmland on the server. Any kind of grass or planting is so hard to find on these servers, especially this close to spawn. So it is pretty cool to see just a farm just chilling out here. This is probably the last farm somebody had. You can see outside the base, over you farming, already get destroyed. So somebody probably was already coming to kill this guy. If this creator is not this guy getting killed, it's probably this guy get killed in front of his own base. You can see it already destroyed. So I'm now going to go straight to Mr. Code Cycle. I'm using teleportation system. I did accidentally trim my pickaxe here last second. I misclicked. So I did lose a very important netherite pickaxe before I teleported. So I did get to this guy's base. I am going to completely blur the majority of... If I have any chords on screen, I'm going to blur it. I'm going to take it off the screen because I don't want to DDoS the guy's location. So yeah, I am going to try to give him back the majority of the stuff. He did let me know that this was a very safe area he was in, because the way it was positioned on the chunks and relative to the highway. This was a really safe part of the map. It's probably why everything was very unlooted and very undestroyed. It had nothing around, nobody for miles. It was at least 100,000 blocks out from spawn, so in either way, nobody is going to find us. It is a pretty cool thing just to see like an undestroyed piece of land. I have not seen trees for a whole 30 minutes, so it is pretty cool just to see a part of the map that is not craters. And then he shared some pretty interesting lore about the server actually, and it's not exactly what you would think. Now you would think on these servers, the majority of it is just griefing, exploding, and fighting, and that does happen a lot. But it doesn't happen all over the server. He said the server is just mostly a chat room. And in my experience playing on the server, just for a little bit I did, it is just a chat room. It's kind of like an online market, but just in Minecraft. It's just mostly selling kits and getting to know people and forming little communities. That's literally what the server about. It's less about actually just blowing stuff up. He said it was actually less rude than Hypixel. And it's something I did fine. If you're new to the community, they're most likely just going to ignore you. But they don't really just scream at each other. They're more like a transactional kind of relationship that they form in the server. But there are a few notable groups in the server that I am going to share now. There's some builds and some cool things that I managed to find online and just rummage around the server and listening to chats. I did stumble upon a few groups and all, like the symbols and stuff, just walking through the server. So I'm going to share that with you guys right now. Now, there seems to be a very notable group on the server called TSR, which has many notable bases on the server, but one that really took my breath away was NN, Ik Yaskov base, which I really hope I didn't butcher, which seems to be mostly comprised of the dupe blocks, which makes the most sense if you see who is one of the next very prominent builds. Now, most of you probably don't understand what you're looking at, and that's completely fine. Most people who play in the game casually not going to understand what that is. Basically, that's a literal kitbot station. And if you don't understand what that is still, that's okay. I'm about to explain it to you. So basically, in-game, you would text in chat what kit you want, or you go onto the server, and you'll pay either in-game money, in real life money, sorry. You pay real world money for in-game items. I'm not even joking when I say that. Literal, real life money for in-game items. And people do it. New players will do it. It is a loyalty. And what the bot will do is they'll go to these stations, they'll take the item out of the chest and deliver it remotely to these people wherever they want over the map using the teleportation system. The same teleportation system that I use to connect with Code Mr. Cycle, the same system they're using now to sell things and make real world money. So this is no longer just Minecraft anymore. This is their business. Crystal PvP changed Minecraft forever. Now players who are Netherite, who was unkillable before, needing fights that last a whole hour just to break a single piece of armor, could be killed in at least 5 seconds. Just like that. It was completely revolutionary, and players who can do it very good rise the ranks in their servers, the best PvPers they can ever have. This happened on all Anarchy servers, where tools and gear maxed out. In that Crystal PvP, Spawn Anchor PvP was the only way to actually kill somebody. This server found ways to duplicate every item in Minecraft. And I'm not just talking about the low level ones, I'm talking about the expensive ones. Things that you didn't even think was possible. Bedrock, Obsidian, Totem 7 Dying, and it had multiple ways to do this, by the way. I just showed in one of them. It had the donkey dupe, it had the ender portal dupe, every nether portal dupe. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. This is just the TNT method of duplicating it, which you place the TNT down, log off game, and then log back in, would fill the entire inventory up with whatever you just duplicated, which was completely broken. But that also means that the economy in this server is completely broken, by the way. It have nothing that has actual worth to it anymore. It just have worth over players who just don't know about the duplication glitch. And of course, there are a lot of people on this server who will try to grief these stashes of dupe blocks just to get the title of a griefer under the name. But still, even with countless people trying to grief these things, it's still very saturated. It just can't get rid of billions of duped items. It's impossible. If you were wondering where Code Mr. Cycle and I was this whole time, we were in the middle of the sea. I couldn't speak to him directly in chat because I actually get like a penalty because I was typing too fast. So I had to talk to him with signs for a little bit. But we made a goal to go and raid a trial chamber because none of us ever did it before. None of us ever did the trial chamber before. So we made a deal to go try the trial chamber out because we was far out enough that those structures still exist. And since we was on the newest version of Minecraft on this Anarchy server, it means that we can actually go see those, see these structures. Before that, let's just say I was getting really into the idea of an Anarchy server. I'll just say I was making a really suspicious shape. I'm not going to specify what it was. I'm just going to say I make a really suspicious shape. I was really getting in the habits of the whole Anarchy thing. Just do whatever you want. It wasn't. I would never play on a server like this. But I think it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny that nobody really cares. Now we broke right down into Trial Chamber's rooms. And we confessed to each other actually later after we actually broke down into it. But neither of us have actually ever done this before. I almost said that before, but we didn't actually know this beforehand. I thought that he knew what he was doing, and he thought I know what I was doing. So we just broke down and started to get attacked. All we know is that we're supposed to put something in something, and we know these zombies supposed to kill these zombies. So that's exactly that's what we started doing. But I didn't actually know that he didn't have any golden apples. What actually happened was he gave me all the golden apples, and we didn't actually know. So I tried to break the spawner, and I realized, oh, we can't break these spawners. And he comes over, and he tries to break these spawners too, and he can break these spawners. You know, so he was like, oh, block them up. You see, we was really educated about this, but blocking them up didn't actually do anything to help us. we, we just thought that would actually help, but it didn't help at all. So we actually ended up clearing out the entirety of the trial chambers room. So long story short, basically, Code Mr. Cycle actually gets a music disc, and initially our first thought was we have to get this down in a jukebox immediately next to our bench. We have to do it, bro. We have to do it. So the first goal, we have to get a tree because, as I said, it have barely any trees on the server. So wood, we have gear, but we didn't actually have regular wood. So we have to first find a tree. So the goal now is just to get out here to play the music disc. And exactly what we do. I do use this other ominous key, by the way. I do use the other one, but we didn't get anything good, so I'm not even gonna bother show that. Come on, you guys didn't really believe I was gonna leave this anarchy server without doing a little bit of griefing on my own, right? Come on, I have to really get into the spirits of anarchy. So I placed down a literal stack of TNT here and asked Mr. Code Cycle for his bow and arrow. And I think it's time for us to purge. I hope you guys enjoyed that explosion as much as it was for me lighting it up. And then we sat down and just vibed to our music disc, knowing that we, together, survived 24 hours on Minecraft's most chaotic server. I really couldn't do it without this man next to me. He was really my partner in crime through this entire experience. I have to say, Minecraft, I am very thankful for having rules on my server, so we don't have to live in this desolate wasteland. Though it's fun to just give up the rules for a couple hours and just experience what it's like when servers literally have no constrictions, no rules, no objectives. Just do what you want. And that's how we get here. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye.